Now, there are just 2 days to go until the most lucrative boxing fight in the history of the sport. Floyd Mayweather takes on Manny Pacquiao in Las Vegas in one of the most anticipated bouts of all time, live on Sky Sports Box Office. Let's head to Las Vegas now. We can rejoin Fraser Dainton live. Fraser, obviously last night we had the news conference. It's the weigh-in tomorrow. What have you got coming up for us this evening?
Well, as you get closer and closer to the fight itself, all the excitement, all the opinions start to come out about how exactly the fight itself is going to go. So I'm throwing a little party here at the Signature Hotel in the shadow of the MGM Grand, as you can probably tell, just behind us. And one of my guests has already arrived, Glenn McCrory. Glenn,
always early.
Always early to a party, yeah, that's true. How much are you looking forward to this? You got off the plane last night and already you're feeling the vibe, you're feeling the buzz.
Of course, I think I was feeling the buzz before I even got here, because all the way from the airport, right from leaving Newcastle, everybody in the airport was saying, who's going to win, who's going to win, what's the fight? And you judge fights on that sort of scale of where you go, how many people ask you. And for this fight, everybody, the taxi driver on the way here was saying, is Ricky Hatton not in this fight? You know, he should be here as well. You know, it's great buzz about the place.
The big question on everybody's lips, Floyd Mayweather, unbeaten so far, how on earth do you beat him?
I don't know, because there's so many legends have tried, so many great names, from your De La Hoyas, your Shane Mosleys, your Miguel Cottos. So many great names have tried and failed. You know, he is he's a legend. He's a once in a lifetime. He's something that comes along every now and again. You've got to enjoy him. He's had a fantastic career, beating everybody with a name, everybody.
Let's break it down slightly. The thing that he really does very, very well is his defensive skills. They are second to none. And the phrase that a lot of people will have probably heard, but maybe don't really understand, is the shoulder roll. So can you quickly demonstrate to us what exactly the shoulder roll is?
The shoulder roll is nothing new. It's a part of defense. Obviously, you use your hands to block shots. But another way is just, you know, you want to get your chin out of the way, so you just stick it behind your shoulder. And that's what he does very well. And lots of fighters have tried. Brendan Ingle had all his Sheffield Johnny and those fighters would use that sort of thing. And it's really just putting your chin behind your shoulder and just using that as a block.
So if the punches are coming in left and right, what Floyd is doing is he's actually moving his shoulder left and right with the rhythm of the punches.
Sticks the chin behind the shoulder and just does that. Now, technically, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do, but to have the confidence when you're in with De La Hoya, when you're in with Cotto, when you're in with Mosley, to adopt that sort of defense, that takes supreme confidence in your abilities. You've got to have a lot more to back it up, and he's got everything to back it up. You know, he's got great defense, great offense. He does everything well. Speaking
of the offense, the other thing that Floyd Mayweather does incredibly well is the counter punch. Every time people come into him, he rolls that shoulder, then he comes back with a sensational jab, and he's got a hell of a right hook too. It's not just his jab, his right hook. One of the punches that I think is going to be very, very important in this fight is very few fighters can get away with it, but it's to lead with your right hand, to lead with your backhand. So he will be in his boxing position, and then you're waiting for the jab coming, and then boom, he just flicks the right hand out. And so many times we've seen him do that. Now, with a southpaw, the right hand has got to be so effective. So guarantee you'll see that punch an awful lot. You'll see him just leading with the right hand, coming back with hooks. It takes great confidence, it takes great swagger, it takes great skill to do it, but he's got them all. 47-0 so far for Floyd Mayweather. Can Manny Pacquiao be the one to unpick that incredible Floyd Mayweather defense? Well, much more of that kind of debate coming up very, very soon within the next half hour. The Sky Sports News pre-fight party here on the channel that is really dominating this fight and really enjoying it. The guests are all coming too. Join us very, very soon.
Pre-fight party this evening. Oh, Fraser, the glamour follows you wherever you go.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I just wanted to organise a little soiree to get a few people together, because obviously we're getting very, very close to the fight itself now. All the big names are starting to roll into town. Everybody, of course, has got an opinion. So I thought I'd get everybody together, have a few little drinks, have a few little snacks, and do some boxing chat with some of the guys who are with us here in Las Vegas. We're at the Signature Hotel next to the MGM Grand, and I'm delighted to say that I've got my first group of guests here who I'm sure you're probably going to recognise very, very well. Of course, we've got Glenn McCrory, we've got Nick Halling, we've got Johnny Nelson, and we've got Jim Watt. Nick, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to come round over here because you, my friend, have got probably the most envious job for a lot of people of the lot. You're the man who's going to be commentating on this fight. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling guilty, if I'm totally honest. I mean, that's exactly... Yeah, I mean, you know, there's so many people would love to be here. So many people that want to be in, deserve to be in, can't get in. And there's me... And yeah. There's me sitting here with these guys who paid their dues, and I'm sort of finding myself, you know, went in there and had a little look around the arena earlier today, and I thought, what do I do in belonging? I don't belong here. This isn't where I should be. The fight of the centre and everything. It really is a tremendous privilege. I'm so excited about it.
Come on, how many requests have you had from friends and family to carry your bags this week?
Yeah, there's been a few of those, definitely. Yeah, and and you have to point out, no, we're here to work. As you can see, we're working very, very hard, knocking back the old Bucks fears, and we got the chicken going as well. So, but no, it's a hard-working slog, and. But we're enjoying it.
Good luck to you. It's going to be fantastic. Let's have a word with the man who's always first to a party. That is Glenn McCrory, of course. Glenn, the clamour for this fight, the excitement that there's been so far. You were even feeling it in the taxi on the way here.
I was. I think you always judge a fight by how many people ask me on the way to a venue. How many people ask me who's going to win, and it's been non-stop all the way here, on the plane, coming through customs, everywhere. All anybody's talking about is this fight, and it's amazing that the world is going to stand still for our sport, for boxing. Come Saturday night, the biggest event. Forget the Super Bowl, forget the World Cup, forget the Olympics. Boxing takes centre stage. Just how much excitement is there? I mean, and what sort of opinions are people saying to you in terms of how they think the fight is actually going to go? I think all in all, people generally believe this is going to be a great fight because you've got the ingredients, two fighters, the two best pound-for-pound fighters of this generation, and that's Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. And you've got such a great mix, a wild fighter from the streets of the Philippines, and then you've got a super boxer, a guy who's got so much style, so much charisma, great defensive skills, who's got a CV of the greatest fighters of our time on his record. So I think everybody knows it has the ingredients to be a super fight. It certainly does. Let's have a word with Jim Watt over there on the other side, because Jim, you've been involved with some big fights over the years with Sky Sports. How does this one compare to the ones you've seen so far? I don't think I've ever known anything like this. I mean, I was over here for Leonard Duran 3, Leonard Hagler, and there were huge fights, as you can imagine. But I think what makes this one so huge is the fact that the public have been talking about it for so long, and it looked as though it was going to be the fight famous for not taking place. So it's terrific now that it's actually taken place. We're just about almost on the eve of it, but it's huge. Obviously, we know a fight has never generated the kind of money that's been generated for this fight, so it's the biggest as far as that's concerned. But what I hope, I mean, we had Ali Fraser won. We had the Hagler, Hearns. We're still talking about these fights all these years later. I hope we're talking about this fight in 20 years' time. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think they've both been a little bit guilty over recent years of just doing enough in fights to get the win. But I think this event is so huge. I think they're both going to bring their best game, their top game. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'll finish off this section by having a chat with Johnny, because you've been here with us for most of the week. You were there for the grand arrivals, you were there for the press conference yesterday. What have you made of the two fighters' demeanour so far? Because they seem to have been very calm. Yeah, you know what, a fight you can usually see what another fighter's thinking or how he's feeling by body language. Is a bit of a giveaway, but with these two, they've both been very calm, respectful, and I think that's because they are fearful of each other. I don't think they'll cower away at all. Please don't think I'm saying that. I think they think, I've got to concentrate what I'm doing. Manny Pacquiao, for the first time, has watched videos of an opponent and asked for advice from Freddie Roach in regards to doing this. Freddie Roach is so happy about that because that makes him a real student instead of just a fighting machine. Floyd Mayweather lives in the gym. That's what he does. That's what breeds him. So that's why most people you ask, you say, what do you think? They say, my head says Floyd Mayweather, my heart says Manny Pacquiao, because he's a people's person. And that's exactly right. To give somebody a chance, as in Manny Pacquiao, I think pace, he's a chancer. He's someone that'll push it and make the pace hard for Floyd Mayweather to get to win number 48. For Floyd Mayweather, the pressure's on him to try and keep that all cool with him. But now, the first time he's talking about retirement, he's talking about just the money. The all means nothing to me. I don't believe that. I think the pressure's on both fighters. I don't believe that for a minute either. Gents, thanks for the moment. We're going to be breaking it down in terms of the fight itself with the likes of Carl Froch and Darren Barker very soon. We're going to be speaking to the English media. We're also going to be getting the view stateside as well from the US media too. So an awful lot more to come here from the Signature Hotel in the MGM Grand. Join us very soon for more from Las Vegas.
Let's get the media view, because this has been going on outlets all around the world. It's been played out in pretty much every country on the globe itself. We've got some distinguished journalists from the UK and also representation from America as well. I've got Jeff Powell from the Mail, Kevin Mitchell from The Guardian, I've got Ron Lewis from The Times, and I've got Brian Custer from Showtime Sports. Jeff, I'll start with you, because I know you guys in the Mail have been running stories on this fight ever since it was made, yes, what, 3 months ago, every single day. So I guess you'll be as relieved as anybody to see it go ahead.
Well, I think I've travelled across the Atlantic for the first time for an event 3 times, went to the red carpet launch, a few interviews there, went back, went for the gym workout days and interviewed a lot more people, and I had to go back for an event, so I went back and 3 days later returned here 2 weeks ago, which is great for the air miles but not too good for the deep vein thrombosis.
But in terms of the coverage, it is unprecedented, I think, isn't it, this level? Oh
yes, and whether or not it's the greatest fight of all time, it's the biggest fight of all time because of the change in the media. I mean, you've got all of us, your side and our side, but the social media has had such an impact on it as well. And the fight has become an obsession. I mean, people just can't get enough of it. The appetite for us, especially on our website, is insatiable. It's just how many more pieces can you give us, because we need every scrap. Oh, Floyd stood up and Manny sat down. Wow, you know, it's extraordinary.
Kevin, is it the same for you? Is the appetite being insatiable?
Absolutely. They can't get enough of it back home. It's like, you know, give us whatever you've got and we'll get it in the paper. I walked in the old media room the other day, which is now devoted to the electronic media and radio guys and all that, and it was weird. This was on Tuesday, I think, and everybody is on the phone to their listeners or viewers, whatever, and this is Tuesday, you know, and then Wednesday's the same, and here is it Thursday? I've lost track, you know, but it's
tell me about it.
It's crazy, you know. And there's the fight week before a big fight in Vegas is always pretty exciting, but really round about this time everybody really wants to get it over and done with and see the fight. There's not a lot left to say. Part of the, I guess, journalism fatigue about it is you've said pretty much everything. As you know, Jeff's been on this case for a long time, and Ron and myself, and I'm sure Brian's had lots of stuff to do. And you think, okay, have I said that before? Have I missed anything? You know, and I pretty much hope I haven't, or someone will let me know.
So you and me both, I can tell you about that, definitely. Let's have a word with Ron. It's been a massive build-up so far. How have you seen it so far?
I think, looking at this week, I think you'd say sort of Manny's had the better of it. I mean, I think people have been quite surprised that Floyd's been a bit downbeat. He hasn't really sort of bounced into the week at all. And Manny's been the one. I mean, Manny's always got a smile on his face, but he's been the one who's seemingly excited and wants to fight. Floyd's the one who's sort of a bit downbeat and talking about retirement. So from that point of view, I mean, it seems a bit odd, because this was kind of almost meant to be the Mayweather coronation, when it was the big fight that was going to turn him into an all-time great. Obviously, he thinks he's the greatest ever, or the best ever. But you know, this was the one who was missing the mega fight, and we'll see how it goes on Saturday night.
Maybe Brian can tell us why we're not seeing the usual kind of Floyd Mayweather that we would expect to see. There's been no trash talking. Everybody's been very calm, very respectful, in fact, so far. Is this a surprise for you?
Well, it is, and you know, even at the press conference, that was one of the questions I asked him, and he simply said, I don't need to bring the money persona for this fight. It sells itself. I mean, what more do I need to say or do? People just need to know it's Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. It's what you've been waiting for 5-6 years. I don't need to do all the other kind of things that maybe sell the kind of fight that he's had to do in the past. And you know what? And to me, when I went and did this press conference yesterday, and I looked out, and there was 600 people, members of the media, just there, and let alone the number of people who have come here to Vegas. But you know, they even tell me 150 countries are going to buy this fight. I mean, it's amazing the type of worldwide attention that this fight is getting. It's truly turned into the Super Bowl of boxing.
We know what it's been like back in the UK, but over here in America, give us an idea of the clamour that you guys have had for this fight.
Well, I mean, it's huge. I mean, everywhere you go, you know, people want to know who's going to win. Hey, why did Floyd say this? What did Manny say this? What's the training look like? I mean, even here in Vegas, you look around, there's signage everywhere, and you just look at this, so many people who have arrived here now. I mean, this city is going to be basically shut down by Saturday because the number of people that have come here. And hey, look, when you just put 500 tickets up to the public and and you sell them out in a minute. I mean, it just goes to show you how much interest you have, especially when tickets are going like $50,000, the cheapest maybe $2,000. That just shows you the type of worldwide interest that people have, not only around the country, but obviously here in the States.
We're looking forward to it. The most expensive tickets I've seen anywhere available on some of the websites. Would you believe this, guys? $350,000 for a ringside seat. I haven't got that kind of money. I'm hoping that Ron has. He might be able to help me out, and maybe Brian. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Join us again very, very shortly from the Signature here at the MGM Grand, because we'll be speaking to Darren Barker and Carl Froch. They're going to break down the two fighters' strengths and weaknesses and hopefully tell us where the fight will be won.
There for us is a pre-fight party tonight, and Fraser is at it. Fraser.
Yeah, hosting some very illustrious guests and some people who have been involved in this business for many, many years and seen an awful lot of things over the years, including I'm joined by my next guest, which is Kelly Swanson from Swanson Communications. You guys have been doing a lot of the PR work with the Mayweather camp for many, many years. I'm guessing this week has been pretty much off the scale.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, we've done a lot of big events because we're actually handling the event side as well as Floyd's publicity. I've been with him 10 years, so we're used to big events, but this is really, really big.
Just how big has it been? How many people have you had asking you for fight tickets, for accreditation, all that kind of stuff?
Well, people know not to ask me for fight tickets. I established that a long time ago, so that's a good thing. But there's a lot of media here. We've just had to be able to manage the process of making sure that really what's important, not so much the accreditation, but everybody's willing to get here, you know, spend a lot of money being here. We appreciate all the press being here, so we just want to do our job and make sure that we make it comfortable for you guys, make sure you get the interviews that you're looking for. And Floyd, you know, he shows up fight week like he shows up throughout the whole promotion. The minute he gets into camp, that's when my job starts. So he handles media well. He's been on time 2 days in a row. He has a satellite media tour today, so I'm hoping he stays on that schedule throughout the week. But he's been great. He's given the media a lot of time, and I think he appreciates just the amount of attention that's on this fight and where his career is to date.
What is he actually like as a person? Because we see this persona, the money persona, but you must see him a lot more sort of behind the cameras, if you like. What is he actually like as a person?
Yeah, Floyd's pretty quiet. You know, I think he's introspective. Really, sometimes he spends a lot of time by himself, particularly as we get closer to a fight. I find that he comes out and does what he has to do, and then he spends a lot of time at home. It's very quiet. He's getting into thinking about the fight and what's going to happen on Saturday night. So you see a whole different side of him that a lot of people don't have a chance to see.
Well, I'm sure after the fight you'll be able to go and sit down in a darkened room and just chill out for a little bit. But yeah, Kelly, you've looked after us really well this week. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let's get to the fight itself. Let's dissect the actual nuts and bolts of things. I'm joined by current super middleweight world champion Carl Froch and also former middleweight champion Darren Barker. Guys, you guys are probably best qualified to really break this down for us. Let's start with Floyd Mayweather. Carl, first of all, just tell us, what is it that makes him so successful?
It's difficult to hit, you know, in a nutshell. It's very, very hard to nail Floyd Mayweather clean. Shane Mosley managed to catch him with a shot. If he does get caught, which he probably will against Pacquiao, he'll adjust. He can make that adjustment. He can change what needs to be changed to turn the fight back around in his favour. And he can do it in the same round. It's not like he needs to go back to the corner, compose himself. He can adjust during the fight. And that's why he's so good and almost so flawless.
Darren, Carl mentioned it there, defensively fantastic, but offensively that counter-punch that he's got, that catches a lot of people out, doesn't it?
It does. You look at that left hook he threw against Ricky Hatton. I mean, it was fantastic. And there'd be the shots he looks for. I think it's important for Mayweather not to stay on the ropes. If he stays on the ropes and does his, you know, typical sort of guarding, he could get outworked. So I think he needs to use the ring and, you know, pick those shots, put the shots together. And
and another one, which is nice. In terms of Manny Pacquiao, we know what he's about. He's all angles. He's incessant with his range, punches from everywhere. This is a guy that is going to be a nightmare for anybody to get in the ring with.
Definitely, and I think the game plan's obvious for Pacquiao. I don't think we're going to see any surprises there. It's going to be 100 miles per hour, loads of shots, hundreds of shots, and try and outwork. And I wouldn't be shocked if we get to the final bell and he's outpointed Mayweather. You know, just down to pure volume of punches.
Floyd himself said yesterday, though, Carl, it's not all about speed, is it? It's about getting the punches in, getting them accurate.
No, exactly. Floyd Mayweather's sort of volume of punches isn't as high as Pacquiao's, but his accuracy rate is pushed up so high. So he's quite conservative with his work rate, but he's so accurate, he wins the rounds. But Manny Pacquiao, let's not forget, he's got a high work rate, he's got fast hands, he comes in on angles, which I've already said, which is very important. So if you back him over up on angles, you're risking not getting counterpunched. You know, that's a massive risk to get counterpunched and get flattened by Mayweather. If your times you right, because speed and timing kills, then Pacquiao could walk into something. But I can't see Mayweather giving Pacquiao any problems in terms of hitting him and hurting him, and certainly not knocking him out. So if he wants to sit back on the ropes, get behind his shoulder and does what he does so well, and you know, we've all tried it in sparring when you see fighters trying to emulate what Mayweather does. He's brilliant at it, that's what he does, and he gets away with it because he can do it. But if he tries to do that from round 1 to round 12 against Pacquiao, I can just see Pacquiao outworking him. You know, because he puts educated pressure. He's not going to be there for the counter. He's going to come in on angles. So round after round after round, the fight could slip away from him, because the judges as well, this is such a big event, anything can happen. We've seen it in Vegas before, controversial decisions, scandal. They always say scandals, but I wouldn't be surprised if
you don't want to be playing catch-up against Manny Pacquiao, do you? You know, if you're getting to round 8 and you're behind on the scorecards, it's going to become difficult then.
OK, quickly then, you guys.
I'm going to have to put my money on Mayweather, I think, you know, points, but on a close one.
Carl?
Yeah, same again. It's a smart bet. You know, you've got to say Mayweather on points. You write him off at your peril. You know, time and time again, we think he's going to be in a tough fight. Alvarez, for example, he makes it easy. But I can see how Pacquiao could win and how he can make it frightening and scary at times for Mayweather. But Mayweather on points in what's looking like it's going to be a brilliant fight.
Having said that, never write off Manny Pacquiao either. It's going to be an intriguing fight. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Carl, for breaking it down for us. More to come from the pre-fight party here on Sky Sports News, live from Las Vegas at the Signature Hotel at the MGM.
Fraser, thanks very much indeed, and apologies for the slight sound issues we experienced there. Weekend. Fraser.
It is a beautiful day here in Las Vegas. In actual fact, it is around about 12 degrees warmer than it normally is at this time of year. And I can tell you it is very, very hot. It's hotting up as far as the boxing is concerned as well. I've got my last two guests here with me. Delighted to say I've got Todd DuBoef, president of Top Rank Promotions, and also Adam Smith from Sky Sports Boxing. Todd, you're from here originally, so you know what it's like. It is very, very hot, but you're used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I've been used to it. Typically, if it wasn't for the show, I wouldn't be wearing a sport coat right now. So I'd be in the short sleeves just like you, and maybe a T-shirt.
I've got to say, hats off. Yeah, I'm sure you would too. Yeah, I've got to say, hats off to you guys in the first place for finally getting this fight on, because we know it's been a hard slog for many years, hasn't it? Yeah,
I mean, when we went to contract back in January, I went to my computer and I looked at the last contract that we went to, which was 209. And it took me kind of down memory lane, and so there are a lot of kids that went through school, college, they got educated, probably got a couple years of grad school, and then they actually were able to see this fight come to fruition.
It's almost been a lifetime for some people, I guess, hasn't it? It's been incredible, but now that it is here and we're a couple of days away, what have you made of the excitement, the build-up, the clamour that there's been for this fight?
I've never seen anything like this, and I was born in Las Vegas, and I've been to Leonard and Hearns and Leonard and Hagler and the biggest fights that ever happened here. I've never seen this, and I've never seen it on a global level like this. We did projections of what we thought it was going to be, and this is just blown through those projections. And I think a lot of it is to social media. I think it really created this global awareness and excitement for a product that people want.
You're in a kind of unique position in many ways, because you promoted Floyd Mayweather for many years. Now, of course, you promote Manny Pacquiao. These two are such incredible boxers, but they're chalk and cheese figures as well. Is that what has made this fight so compelling for everybody involved, not just in boxing, but across sport?
Well, I think that's an interesting storyline. I mean, I think the interesting storyline is you have somebody who's all about everybody else, which is Manny, who has this great altruism and philanthropic behavior, and you have somebody that is all about him and his world and his money and his cars, and they're the Felix and Oscar, the yin and yang, and I think it just works perfectly, and in the ring, it's going to be something.
Adam, would you agree with that? Have we got this narrative here where we've got these completely polar opposite people, and yet two top world-class boxers?
Well, they're the two iconic fighters of this generation, aren't they? And as Todd said, it took so long to actually finally get the fight on. Everyone in the world is enjoying this. I haven't seen anything like Todd like this. I've come to Vegas over the last 20 years many, many times, and it's something different this week. The feel, the anticipation, the hope for something terrific on Saturday night. And I think that's what we will get set because Floyd Mayweather's defensive genius, Manny Pacquiao's whirlwind speed and style, I think they're just going to clash beautifully. And I think there's a lot of pressure on the two of them to deliver something for the world as well. We've had big events, of course, on Sky over the years, the likes of when Hatton came over here and fought Mayweather, of course, last spring when 80,000 came to Wembley and Carl Froch, who's somewhere around the party now, fought George Groves in the rematch. But this, I think, takes it to another level because it's worldwide. 150 countries taking this fight and just everybody talking about it all the time. It's just terrific.
And yet at the same time, the two of them have been so incredibly calm and relaxed. There's been no trash talking, none of that at all. Are we experiencing the calm before the storm here?
Let's be honest, the presser was dull, wasn't it? It really was. I mean, it was whether they just felt they didn't need to say anything. I mean, I think that, you know, at the end of the day, we just know what we've got here. We've got in Mayweather a supreme gifted fighter, 5-weight champion. Manny Pacquiao 6, some say 8 weights, depending on the belts. But he's gone through years and years of proving people wrong. He's the underdog. Money's coming in on Manny, interesting enough, here in Vegas. And I think it's all set. So I think Manny's been calmer to me. He seems happy in his own skin. Floyd, the pressure on that O record is interesting. I still see Mayweather as a favourite for the fight, but people are hoping for Manny. Maybe it's more hope, you know, with the people behind him, but I think it's going to be fascinating come Saturday night.
Todd, does Floyd Mayweather have everything to lose and Manny Pacquiao have everything to gain here?
No, I don't think that's the case at all. I think they both have everything to gain. And I think that this is what you do as a fighter. I think that Floyd puts a lot of pressure on himself because he anoints himself this person, which internally gives him some pressure, right? But I think now the public and people are satisfied he committed to the fight, and therefore he's going to put on a great fight. And I think that's the satisfaction they both have. They both are here. This is what the people want, and this is what everyone deserves. So I think it's a win-win for both of them.
It's a win-win for boxing as well.
Have you got the right guy? You had Mayweather, now you've got Pacquiao. Have you got the right one?
Honestly, it is, like I said, it's a fascinating fight, and I think Manny has this confidence about him right now that is just, it's eerie. It's eerie. He's very spiritual now, and he's very confident. But Floyd is brilliant, so it's going to be incredible.
No doubt the calm before the storm. Gents, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Adam and Todd, thanks very much indeed to everybody at the Signature here at the MGM Grand for laying on the hospitality. We've had a great time. We can't wait for the fight. Don't forget, of course, though, that we've got the weigh-in live on Sky Sports News on Friday night in the UK, and then the fight itself, of course, only available on Sky Sports Box Office.
So we're all over the world tonight. We start in Las Vegas, where in around 54 hours' time, the eyes of the boxing world will be watching the richest fight in history. Floyd Mayweather puts his unbeaten record on the line against Manny Pacquiao on Sky Box Office. And Fraser Dainton is in Las Vegas for us now. Fraser, what are the fighters up to today, then?
Well, it's business as usual as far as the two are concerned, although having said that, I've just been given the information that Manny Pacquiao has been to the MGM Arena to actually have a look at the ring and at the arena itself, so he's obviously getting a last little look at things before he makes his way into the arena for the fight itself on Saturday night. And then we understand it'll be off to the Top Rank gym, which is a private gym here down in downtown Las Vegas, for a little bit of light pad work, we expect. A little bit of working out. It's all a question of tapering off at this stage and getting to the stage where they can really conserve their energy. For Floyd Mayweather, well, of course, he has his own boxing club here. He's based in Las Vegas. He's only about 10 minutes away, so a little bit of light work for him as well. And then, of course, as I say, conserve your energy, get yourself mentally ready for the fight itself.
There's been a fairly cordial affair between the two fighters so far, but will that change at the weigh-in?
Well, this is an interesting prospect because the weigh-in itself can be a last opportunity to maybe score 1 or 2 psychological points. So far, it's been very even, very honest, very sort of open, really, between the pair of them so far. There's been no trash talking, no disrespect, any of that kind of stuff. There were even smiles yesterday at the press conference when somebody made some kind of a joke about the WBC belt that was up for grabs. They eventually laughed about that quite a bit. Very serious when they got to the actual head-to-head part, obviously, as you might expect. But there are so many fighters that have got into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, and they've been beaten before they actually step inside because the psychological battle has been so intense that they've ended up
having lost the fight in their heads before it's even started. This is a little bit different, though. Manny Pacquiao doesn't get involved with mind games. He's not the kind of fighter to trash talk his opponents. He always is respectful towards them. So I think Floyd Mayweather may have realised that A, Manny Pacquiao isn't going to put up with any of that kind of nonsense, and B, it's a reflection of just how seriously he is taking this fight, because he knows that Manny Pacquiao is probably the only fighter that can take him that close to losing that 0 on his record. 47-0 for Floyd Mayweather at the moment. He's confident he can make it 48, but there's no doubting Manny Pacquiao will be the toughest test of all so far.
Fraser, thanks very much.